Hello, happy Friday to everybody, and thank you for joining us today and taking time out of your day to be with us. Um, Looking forward to talking more towards our mechanical division. As you know, we represent both collision and mechanical industries as an organization, and I'm wanted to share some ideas today as we start the new year off. We've been enjoying these live events. And so we want to kind of go through some tips and some ideas just to get everybody thinking, because that's what makes us better, that's what gives us opportunities, and that's what hopefully helps us to overcome some of the challenges we have day to day, and also our staffing as well, whether it's a service advisor or a greeter or our technicians, giving those tools that we can. And too often as an association, we associate the word benefits to those things that are tangibles, whether it's discounts or insurance quotes or things like that. But oftentimes we miss the opportunities and the tools and some of the other things that get our minds going that also increase our bottom line. And I'll give one quick example here that I'm proud of, and I'll hold it up. One of the things we have for professionals is a 10-step diagnostics chart, and that's available in our tool and resources on our website. So kind of review those with your staff, because we may have had changes and other things have occurred in the past 12 months. So again, do that. Darren, how you doing? I'm glad to see you tuning in. And Darren, in particular to you, your crowd, we're going to also have one on Tuesday for the collision industry too as well. But I'm glad you tuned in, and I know you guys do both. So thanks for being with us. So the 10 steps diagnostic tool is a great one for your service advisors, kind of as a reminder when they're dealing with some of the customers. But I want to also go a couple more things. Earlier this year on one of our live feeds, we talked about the opportunity with digital inspection, and I kind of put a challenge out to the providers of that software to kind of prepare us for the future. But we normally have some sort of inspection process via paper, via digital, whatever that may be. And I just want to make sure that we really stay on top of this. In fact, after our last live feed, when I talked about ADAS and calibration, which we're going to be doing at our annual meeting here in Texas, I want to talk about, or I want to make sure that we stay on top of that, because it's so crucial. Not only is it about some of the opportunities financially, but it's also about the safety and liability that's put upon us as professionals that we need to put on our radar screens. Sean, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the live session with us today, and glad you're with us. And when you get a chance, kind of go back. If you missed some things, please go back to the beginning of this after we're done today. But I want to talk about inspections and how crucial that is. When we talk about ADAS and calibration, so often get busy and so forth. And what we don't realize by not giving that physical inspection or looking at, the opportunity for not only revenue, but as I say, opening ourselves up for liability as professionals is increasing. And so when we talk about things, one of the things we've had on our website and also on the Facebook Live page is the NHTSA VIN decoding, which is very important, because that tells us what options and what safety mechanisms are on vehicles. So let's start using those tools that are available to us to better help ourselves as an industry and us as repair facilities. When we talk about that, the reason it's important, and I want to just give this quick shout out, when you look at like a Honda, for example, you got a mirror that's on that's got a camera on it for the lane changing for ADAS, right? For lane departure warning systems and things of that nature. So if we're not inspecting that, and if this mirror, for example, has a gouge in it on the edge, right here, for example, we should be looking at that, because that should trigger us right away saying there may be some sort of calibration needed for this camera, and at least putting it in the notes section and sharing that with the consumer at the time of picking the vehicle up, so that we are making sure we're bringing it to their attention, and if further diagnostics is needed or necessary, that we're taking that opportunity, both financially and to limit our liability. So use that NHTSA VIM decoding tool as an opportunity. TJ, welcome to be with us. Glad you joined us. And again, for those that are just joining us, please make sure you go back at the end of this to look at the beginning of the program. But when you look at ADAS and calibration, I had as I mentioned or referred to a little bit earlier, I had a media outlet that contacted me and said, "Why are you kind of staying on that?" And I just think it's not necessarily the newest thing since sliced bread, but it's something that we have to be more aware of day to day, both on the collision and mechanical side, and making sure that as professionals, we're still doing our job to make sure that we acknowledge things that may affect those systems, and in turn, learn about them, be able to talk to our consumers confidently, and make sure that all mechanisms or all the safety devices, just like we do brake inspection, tire inspection, start making that our habit going forward. These are also opportunities for diagnostics to look at. The other part, we've already done forecasting, I'm sure, hopefully, by this time, and we're starting to create our make sure that we're staying within our budgets as shop owners and shop managers. And one of the things we want to start looking at is a new opportunity of revenue, whether it's diagnostic, because you're not selling parts, so we should have established something there. But also on the calibration side, how do we classify that? Do we feel confident putting that in a repair category and realize we're going to make some income off of parts being sold? Or do we look at that as diagnostics, like some of our trainers have talked about, where you should look at diagnostic codes or diagnostic rates and things of that nature? So you want to relook at your cost of doing business and doing those types of things, so that you not only maintain but increase your bottom line, and in no time should any of these situations come out of your pocket. So as professionals and as a professional industry, we need to use all these tools and resources. And as I said, when you go to our website, we've got tools and resources there for the industry, but we also have things for our members as well. We also have past videos that we've done or webinars that we've done here for you. And of course, now after the first of the year, as we've talked about in the past, we just launched autoinc.org. Digitally, so that information is being put in at a timely fashion and updated for all of you to access. So these are some of the things going into 2019. Let's take a look at them and say, yeah. Let's take a look at them, revisit them, and say, okay, I'm doing this very well right now, but last year I wasn't in a position to start doing this. That's an opportunity for us going forward. So let's look at what we can do there and increase our bottom lines. Let me take a look here quick. We got some other people joining us. Want to say hi to Bob and Stan. Stan, good to see you. And so, while we're thinking of it, there's just tremendous opportunities going forward. So let's revisit things like this that we've maybe done day to day that we've perfected, and pick the ones that we haven't done because we were too busy focusing on ones we were missing. But let's keep generating that revenue to your bottom line. And this is not rocket science, but it's reminders. Throughout the years of my experience in the industries, one of the things I used to do is, like anybody else, you attend classes or AMI online training, for example, for management training, which is a tremendous resource. And you'd go to them and you get so focused on some initial content that you hear that you don't hear the rest. And now it's time to go back and say, what are the other opportunities? I've read many books the same way. And by the way, before I do forget, if you want, on your Facebook app, you can get future notifications from ASA when going live, and just turn that on if you're with us today. So make sure we do it, and that way going in the future, you'll be notified when we've got a live event. In fact, like I mentioned earlier, I think I did, on Tuesday we're going to do one that's a little more towards the collision industry. So, but everybody's welcome. We can always learn from each other, and what are some of the things that each industry is facing. So I always looked at it, I attended both, because that way, both is part of the repair process. And when I can help another division and they can help me, that's what makes us all better. So again, and kind of concluding today, you know, I talked about ADAS and calibration and some of the liability concerns that we're going to be facing going forward. And these vehicles are on the road. And if you doubt me, you talk to some of the collision centers because they're already seeing it. And let's not be naive just because of vehicles in warranty period that's, you know, by doing an oil change or something like that, or just checking something, our hands are the ones that last touch the vehicle. So in today's litigious society, I want to protect you. So let's look at that. But I'm happy to say that the things that I did about ADAS and calibration, and again looking at things such like the cameras on the rear view mirrors. Why? Because the liability, but also too, we want to feed more information to you and let you know that we're here for you, which is why when we come to our annual meeting, April 30th and May 1st, we're going to be doing a live presentation, a 4-hour segment actually, with the cooperation of Standard Motor Products, who's putting it on for us. We're going to do a live calibration and also a very informative session for the mechanical and collision repair industry, so that we can take that fear of the unknown out of your stomach and look at 2019 as opportunity rather than challenges. So thank you for being with us today. Again, keep looking at our new digital Auto Inc. At autoinc.org. We're constantly updating content on that. Michael, good to see you. Glad you joined us. Please make sure you go back and look at the video when this is over. But again, I want to make sure that going into 2019, we're here to help the industry. If you have any concerns, thoughts, please keep reaching out to us. We'll get this on Facebook recorded as well. Comments are always welcome. Things you'd like to see in the future, please send them our way. We'll look at it, and I think it's not going to be if, it's when we can do it. So thank you very much for being with us today. I want to get you back to your Friday. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Hope it's a very profitable day, and have a great weekend. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for supporting us as a member.